Hello gang, welcome back, Caleb here. Today is day 6 of the GCSEs, Maths and RE. RE paper 2 that is, which means now we are done with RE. Thank goodness. That's the first GCSE, for me at least, over. One less thing to worry about, guys. But, nevertheless, we still have to do a review on it. So, let's just get right into it, shall we? I want to talk about maths first of all. Now, this was the ultimate decider as to, today in general really, the ultimate decider as to what theories were correct. And I must say, I think I'm leaning more towards the paper 2 being weird theory. Or paper 2 being bad, weird, whatever you want to call it. Because I personally think that math paper was much better than many people thought it would be. A lot of people left thinking it was terrible. A lot of people left thinking it was alright. To be honest, it was pretty much a breeze up until about question 16. And then 17 onwards was just kind of like, what? It was working out marks, you know. Like, I think the last question, I mean, I didn't even attempt it. There wasn't any, but I probably would have lost marks for attempting it. They would have just written, what the hell are you doing? You idiot. You are not good enough for this. -2. And then, I mean, that could be the difference between a 7 and a 6. And that's the difference between A-level and not A-level, so. But anyway, I think that overall, it was an alright paper. Mistakes were made, as it is with math papers. But we have a lot of time to come back, okay? Let's remember that, guys. Let's not discourage ourselves yet. We have time. Maths paper 2 isn't until after half term. Maths paper 3 is even later on after half term. We have time, guys, okay? Now, we have, I think it's about 2 weeks and a couple days until the next maths exam. That is more than enough time, considering that one of those weeks is half term. I mean, come on, guys. We have more than enough time. Let's just do it. Let's get it done, okay? But I think overall, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's very possible to get a 7 with the work I did, personally. And to be honest, I think it was a pretty good paper. I'm satisfied. I'm content and satisfied with it, I think. To be honest, there's not much really else to say. I think, yeah, I think it was a very average maths paper. I feel like it's like it wasn't. I mean, compared to the past papers that we have done, I think some of them were definitely easier, but then there's also some of them that were definitely harder. So I think it's sort of just mid, to be honest. And this also lines up with what my friend was saying. That it's a midday because of the weather, the pathetic fallacy. So like, it was mid. So math paper was mid. That's just a theory. Because I mean, pathetic fallacy can be misleading because, as we all know, the rain on the English lit paper day was dreadful, but yet it was an alright paper. But I did realise actually something about that, is that it was a fun kind of rain. It wasn't the kind of rain that makes you go, oh no, it's raining, I must seek shelter. It was the kind of rain that makes you go, huh, this is kind of pleasing, in a way. And it kind of, you don't mind if you don't have a coat or a shelter to protect you. And I think that's really what it was with the English lit paper. But enough English lit, we're talking about maths and RE here. So all in all, 6 out of 10 maths paper 1 non-calculator. Plenty of time to get any extra marks we need for paper 2 and paper 3. So I think we're good. Now, on to RE. I'll be honest, I could not focus throughout that entire exam. I don't know what it was, and many others shared the same feeling. There was no sense of focus. I mean, I thought back to RE paper 1, how I was just blitzing through it. Hand was hurting, I was fighting through the pain, writing. And then I looked at the paper then, and I mean, 20 minutes in, I'd only done the 1 markers and 2 markers. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm cooked. But, I mean, I got to writing, and then, you know, I mean, I got it done. I did the whole paper. But, I'm kind of mid, to be honest. And, I did may or may not make up my own quote from the Bible. For my fellow AQAers out there for RE, the 12 marker about the Shabbat and how family is the most important part of it, I did right. I quote this, I wrote this in my exam, as the scripture says, quote, the day of rest is the day of unity, unquote. This shows that the Shabbat is a day of togetherness with those closest to you. Am I cooked? Possibly. If the examiner or whoever's marking my exam is really bothered about it, they might look it up and find nothing. And then I'm kind of finished. But if you really think about it, technically, am I not a religious figure? There are people who look to me for wisdom, I feel. I have given out my fair share of quotes in my day. Some religious, some not. But I feel like I could justify it. But probably not. If they look it up, I'm just going to accept that I made a quote up, and I don't think I'll lose marks for it, but I don't think I'm going to gain marks for it. I mean, they might just be like, fair play, you made up a decent quote, and give me another mark. But it's the only way I thought of to get out of that level 2 to get to level 3 and 4. To be fair, the rest of the 12 marker was good. It's just the fact that I made up my own quote that's bad. But to be honest, it was an alright paper, I think. I think it was very specific. With paper 1, it was more broad, like, kind of question. But paper 2 was just kind of like, really, I don't know how to say it. It was just very specific. That was kind of it. There's not a lot to talk about for some of them, to be honest. And also, the entire exam, there was some weird rhythmic beeping going on, like, behind me. Someone had some kind of watch or something that was beeping the entire time. But, like, it wasn't loud enough that an invigilator could hear, unless they're, like, directly next to them. And every time they walked past, it would beep after they had gotten far enough away that they wouldn't hear it. And it was so annoying. But we move on. But yeah, I think RE overall was about 5.5 out of 10. Slightly worse than the maths. I think the maths was alright. Foundation maths, if any of you are watching, leave your a review on the foundation maths in the comments, please. As well as any Excel RE people who are watching, please leave your review on that as well. Or whatever other exam was, whatever. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Special shout out to Lucas Ramises. He understands why, and so do a couple of other people. I cannot disclose it. Malpractice. But yeah, I think all in all, an okay day. Not too bad. Now we've got to be ready for chemistry tomorrow, guys. So let's get revising. Caleb signing out. Adios.